All right, hey everyone, welcome back to our second session of intro app building with the platform Thunkable. We'll get right into it. I want everyone to just go to this website right here. You can pause video. It's x.thunkable.com/login. So just make sure that you log in with your account, whether it be by email or any of these. If you, for some reason, forgot your account, you can click forgot password, or if you don't have one, go ahead and click sign up by clicking this link right here, clicking create one. That'll take you up to the sign up page, and you can do that from there. I'll go ahead and I'll sign up with email. I already have a login actually, so I can also just log in. All right, cool. All right, once you're at this screen, you should have logged in. You should see your projects. We'll go ahead and click create new app. Once again, this is a recording from our last session, which we built the cookie clicker app. So I'll go over how to build it in case you missed anything. So just go ahead and start off on the left by clicking create new app. Just type in cookie clicker. Um, you can name it anything you want, but I'll just name it cookie clicker because that's the name of the app. Um, just you can't really change it to private, but make sure it's public and click create. And like we showed in the session, this is what it looks like where we design our app. And then on the left here where it says blocks, we will program the app. So the first thing we're going to do is just create a label. A label is just a piece of text, and we're going to put a title for our app on the actual screen. Um, so on the left here, where it says cookie clicker or the name of your project, you're going to go down where it says add components. And here's where we have a set of components to choose from, like buttons, labels, text inputs, switches, and sliders. These are just common UI components that you see on a mobile app or any kind of game on a phone that you've played or used. So we're going to go ahead and create a label and drag it inside the screen. So just click on it and don't let go until you reach the screen, and then let go on the very top. And once you've done that, you'll see a label with the label text um, that's on the screen. So we want to change it to cookie clicker to say this is the title of our app. And it'll just be on the screen while we play the game. We can change the font size. Let's do something like, oh, my bad. Sorry about that. Let's do something for like maybe like 30 as a font size. Maybe even 37 should be good. Um, so just that's how it will look. We want this at the top so that we actually have space to design our app and actually click on the buttons and have different features and functions on the screen. So we have the cookie clicker right here. It's in the middle of the screen. We want to move it upwards. Before we move it upwards, though, I'm going to change up a few things. So right now we have font weight, which we can make it bold, or you can change it up based on the thickness of the font weight. I'll just make it bold. I also want to change the color because it looks a lot better with color. But before we do that, we're going to go to advanced. So under advanced, if you scroll down and you see positioning, and under positioning, you see position, and at position, we want to change it to relative. And once we change it to relative, you can scroll down, and where it says edge offsets, we're going to change the bottom edge offset. So what this means is that it's going to move X amount of pixels or whatever amount of pixels that you input upwards, because it's going to move that many pixels from the bottom, which means this label is going to move upwards to the top. So if you do something like 1 pixel, it's not going to be very much. You won't even be able to notice it because 1 pixel is very small. So in this case, we're going to do something like 100 pixels. If you want to go further, let's do something like 250. That's a bit high, so I'll do 200 as my as the perfect label on the app. And that will be what it'll look like from now on. And like I said, we can change other things like the text color. So to do that, you can see there's a lot of options here. If you text decoration color, a lot of things you can do here. Yeah, so we have our font size, we have number of lines. So if you want to change the color, you can choose any kind of color. I'll choose blue, like a kind of a light blue up here, and that should be good. Cool. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have the score label. So this is the label that as you click on the cookie, it's going to track your score and it's going to display your score. So we're going to drag that in. It's another label. And as soon as you do that, we're going to type in score 0. So that's what it's going to be for now because your score obviously starts at 0. I'm going to increase it to maybe 27 as our, maybe a little bit less, 25 as our score. And I'm gonna change the color to maybe a lighter blue or maybe a darker blue, something like that. And then I'm gonna go to advanced again. I'm gonna go down to positioning, position, click relative, and under that we're gonna go to edge offsets, and then on the bottom we'll move it about maybe 50 pixels or maybe a little bit more. 75 should be good. And maybe 70 should be perfect. So now we have our cookie clicker label, our score, and then this will be the space for a cookie image where we can essentially have an image that we can click on, and then we'll have the reset button finally. So that's what it looks like right now. We're gonna go down from on the left here under add components. The user interface has a lot of things here, but I'm gonna go down even further to image. So under image, you'll see that there's the first button that says image. I'm going to drag that in, and it should misalign things a bit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drag this on the left here. You'll see under your name, on the cookie clicker name, you're going to see the image is on the very top, but we want it on the bottom, below label 1 and label 2. So I'm going to drag this like that, and it should be better. Now, you'll see that all these other things move a bit upwards. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust that. So click on cookie clicker, go back into advanced and positioning, and then just kind of mess with it. You don't want it to go upwards so much. So I'm gonna go 180 maybe, maybe even 160. And then the same thing for score. I'm going to go to positioning under advanced, scroll down, mess with the edge offset of the bottom. I'm not gonna go as far, so I'm gonna go like 40. That should be good. And then the same thing here with the image. I don't want to go super down. I'll just do something under positioning, make sure it's relative. And under relative, you'll see edge offsets. Maybe do like 20 or maybe 32 should be good. And then we'll have our image. And you'll notice that the image hasn't been set yet, which means we need to supply or input our own image. And to do that, you'll see the first thing under simple. You can see advanced and simple. Advanced usually has a lot of more advanced features, obviously, and simple has just the basic things. So it says picture, no file source. I want everyone to just click type in URL and then just type in bit.ly/cookie image. And you'll see a cookie image automatically appears. This will only work for this link because this is a link to an image, and this is a personalized created link. So if you use this link right now, it'll work. Hopefully, so it should be bit.ly/cookie image. All right, so now that we have that, we have an image. The last thing we're going to add is a reset button. And to do that, if you go to the very top under add components, under user interface, the very first UI component is button, and we're just going to drag it down here. And as soon as you do that, you'll see it goes all the way upwards. So we want to move it back down. So button 1 is up here. We want to drag it underneath image. So just click on it and drag it downwards. And you'll see everything a little bit offsets, which is fine. We just want to move this one downwards more. So go into advanced, positioning, position relative, and then scroll down under edge offsets. We want to move this downwards, so we're going to go to top, and we're going to do about 15 or maybe even more. Let's do 27. That should be good. And that will be the end for our UI. All right. So now that we have our UI, we're going to go ahead and build our app. just as a reminder, how this app will work is we will click on this cookie right here as a button, and the score will readily increase. So every time you click it, you'll get 1 point, and your score will display as 1. And every time you click it another time, it'll add 1 to your score every time. And then this button right here will be our reset button. So now, right now it says button, but we can change that later. Actually, we'll go ahead and change it right now. So where it says button right here, just click on it, and then scroll to the very top. And right now you might be on advanced, you want to go to simple, and just change the text of the button. I'm going to change it to reset game. And this will essentially just set the score back to 0 in case you wanted to restart. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and program it. Let's go to blocks on the very top. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to program the image. And when you click on it, what happens? It increases the score. So we're going to go to image 1. And you may remember this from class. It's the very first block. And this block basically just does something as soon as the image is clicked. So that's what this block does. So we're just going to drag it in. Another thing to mention that we mentioned in class is that this score right here will depend on a variable changing. So to do that, we're going to go to label 2. And that's where we'll have our changing the labels text. But before that, we want to create a new variable. So go to initialize app variable name, drag that in, type in score, and set it to 0. So we're going to set it to 0 by going into math and dragging this first block inside. Basically, this block all we'll do is it will create a new variable called score and set it to 0. So what we want to do now is we're going to every time we click on the image, we want it to increase the score by 1, right? So go to variables, and you're going to go to the third block that says change app score by 1 and drag that in. So as you'll see, you have the score will start at 0. Every time you click on the image, it'll increase by 1 exactly. So every time you click on it, it'll go 1, 2, 3, and so on, and it should work. Now let's go into design and let's just test it out. And click preview if you want to do that. If you want to go to live test up here, you can download the app and follow these instructions on your screen on the app. It'll give you a code, and then you can enter it right here. So let's just click preview for now. It looks a little bit messed up right now, but you can change that. It's just because of the size of the screen. But as you can see, every time I click on this, nothing happens. And the reason why, if you want to go back, is just click edit, go to blocks. The reason why is because we have just changed the variable. We have not changed this. This is a text. All this does it will just display the score. This is just text. So now that we've changed the score, we also want to display the score. So to do that, we're going to go to label 2. And we're going to go to this second dark green block that says from label 2 set text to whatever we want. And then we're going to combine the word score and the number that the score is, because the score is actually just a number. It doesn't include the text score. So we're going to have to join a string and a number together so that it displays the word score. And then after it says score, it will actually display the number that is the score. So how we're going to do that is we're going to go to text. The second block will allow you to do that. That says join. We're going to drag that in right here. And we're also going to go to variables and take app score and drag that in here. And then we're going to go to text, and we're going to type in something we want. Actually, my bad. We need to, you can delete these by just clicking delete on your keyboard. We want to move the app score right here. My bad. So we want to move the app score here, and we want to move this string right here, and just type in score like this with the colon and give it a space. So now it'll be score like this plus this. It'll add on the actual score. So every time you click on it, it'll be 1 and then 2 and then 3 and so on. So we want to drag this in now, and it should work. Make sure that you have label 2 up here, and that's what will change. You want to make sure you didn't make any mistakes. That is one really key thing. So as you can see, as I click on the cookie, the score increases, and we have our basic function down now for our game. The last thing we want to do is click the reset button and program it. So we're going to go to button 1, which is the reset button. The very first block will be the click function. So every time we click on it, what will it do? It'll do whatever we want it to do. We want to drag it in. And you can actually just duplicate right here because that's what exactly what we want to do. Sorry, my bad. We want to go back into variables and you want to set the app score back to 0, right? And we don't want to make the same mistake again. We also want to display the score. So let's just preview it for now. As you can see, the cookie thing works. But when you click the reset button, what happens? And now watch what happens when I click the cookie. What do you think it will be? 12? It'll actually be 1. Because when you click reset game, it's actually at 0, but it hasn't displayed it yet. And now when you click on this again, it'll change it back to 1, and then you click it again and again. So that's what this reset button will do. So we have to make sure that not only do we set the app score variable to 0, we also want to display this. And to do that, you can just duplicate this green block and drag it in. It'll basically do the same thing. It'll just display score plus the number 0 because that's what we have here. And we should be done. So if you preview it, click on this multiple times, you can see your score increasing. You have a really nice, beautifully designed interface, and you can even test this on your phone as well. And when you click reset game, it should go back to 0. I think that's all we have for this time. If you missed anything, just make sure that you go back to that part in the video and really clarify and understand what mistake you made. And we hope to see you guys next time in our next class for session 3, where we will be building a new app and a more complex app. It's going to be really fun. Thank you guys for coming, and see you soon.